Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I am your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. I am absolutely floored to be sitting across from a true icon today. For those who may somehow not know who you are you?
Most people know me as the chairman of the board, or maybe Old Blue Eyes. I'm a singer, an actor, and a guy who just happened to have a pretty decent run in show business.
A decent run is the understatement of the century. When and where were you born?
I made my grand entrance on December 12th, 1915, in a little town called Hoboken, New Jersey.
And what was your given name at birth?
Francis Albert Sinatra.
Is there a story behind your birth name?
You could say that. I was a big baby, 13 and a half pounds, and I actually had a pretty rough start. The doctor had to use forceps, which left me with some scarring on my neck and ear. I wasn't breathing at first, so my grandmother held me under cold water until I let out a yell. I think I've been making noise ever since. I was named after my father, Anthony, but they went with Francis for my middle name.
That's a powerful start to life. What was your hometown like growing up?
Hoboken was a tough, blue-collar town. It was full of immigrants, a lot of Italian families like mine, and there was always music in the air. It was the kind of place that put hair on your chest and taught you how to stand up for yourself.
What was your family life like?
I was an only child, which was rare for an Italian family back then. My mother, Dolly, was a real firecracker, very involved in local politics. My father, Marty, was a quiet man, a boxer and a fireman. They worked hard to make sure I had what I needed.
What kind of kid were you?
I was a bit of a loner, but I had a lot of energy. I liked to dress well. Even then, my mom made sure I had nice clothes. I was always wandering around, listening to the radio, and dreaming big.
What were your biggest fears growing up?
Honestly, being ordinary. I had this drive in me from a very young age. I didn't want to just work at the docks or stay in the neighborhood forever. The idea of never getting out and seeing what else was out there, that scared me.
What did you dream of becoming as a child?
Once I heard Bing Crosby on the radio, that was it. I knew I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be the guy everyone stopped to listen to.
What were some of your favorite activities in school?
School and I didn't exactly see eye to eye. I was more interested in the school band and performing. I actually dropped out of high school after only about 47 days. I figured the world was my classroom.
What was your first job?
I did a lot of odd jobs. I delivered newspapers, worked as a riveter's helper at a shipyard, and even worked for the Jersey Observer. But the real job started when I began singing for tips at local social clubs.
Was there a moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
It was the way people reacted when I sang. I realized I could tell a story through a song in a way that made people really feel something. It wasn't just about the notes, it was about the emotion.
What's a decision that changed everything for you, but felt small at the time?
Joining a group called the Three Flashes, we became the Hoboken Four. We went on Major Beau's amateur hour and won. It felt like just another gig, but it was the first time I really got a taste of the big time.
What was your biggest break?
Getting hired by Harry James was big. But the real explosion happened when I joined Tommy Dorsey's orchestra. That's where I learned how to breathe properly while singing. Watching Tommy play the trombone taught me more about phrasing than anything else.
What were your biggest struggles before success?
Just getting noticed. There were a million singers out there. I had to find my own sound, and I had to convince people that a skinny kid from Jersey had something worth hearing.
Did you ever consider quitting?
Never. Even when things got really bad in the early 50s, when I lost my voice for a bit and the movies weren't calling, I knew I'd find a way back. You don't quit when you have the music in you.
Were there any specific daily habits or routines that you feel are essential to your success?
Discipline. People think I just walked out there and sang, but I studied those lyrics. I'd walk for miles working on my breath control. And of course, staying sharp. You have to look the part to feel the part.
What job would you have had if fame never happened?
I probably would have ended up in sports or maybe following my mother into politics. I liked being in the thick of things.
What was your life like before fame?
It was a lot of late nights, smoky clubs, and traveling on buses. It was lean, but it was exciting because every night was a chance to get better.
How did relationships change after success?
It gets complicated. You find out who your real friends are pretty quickly. Everyone wants a piece of you when you're on top, but very few people are there when the lights go dim.
Did fame bring happiness?
It brought opportunities and a lot of fun, but happiness? That's something you have to find inside yourself, away from the crowds.
What was the downside of becoming famous?
A lack of privacy. Everyone thinks they own a piece of you. And the rumors. People love to make up stories when they don't have the facts.
What misconceptions did people have about you?
People thought I was a tough guy all the time. Sure, I had a temper and I didn't take any nonsense, but I also had a very soft heart for my friends and for people who were struggling.
What was your darkest moment?
The early 1950s. My career was in a tailspin, my marriage to Ava Gardner was rocky, and I felt like the world had moved on without me. It was a long road back.
What past regret did you carry that you spoke about?
I wish I had spent more time with my children when they were young. I was always working, always on the road. You can't get that time back.
What's something people misunderstood about your life?
My associations. People like to paint pictures of me based on who I shook hands with at a club. I was a performer. I moved in all circles.
Tell me about a time when everything went wrong and how did you handle it?
When I lost my recording contract and my film career was dead in the water, I handled it by fighting for the role of Maggio in From Here to Eternity. I knew if I got that part, I could show them I was more than just a crooner. And it worked. I got the Oscar.
Did fame and fortune change your life?
It changed my surroundings, certainly. I went from Hoboken to Palm Springs. But at my core, I was always that same kid who wanted to be the best.
What personal battles were you fighting privately?
I struggled with bouts of loneliness and what they call the black dog, depression. Sometimes the silence after a show is the loudest thing in the world.
Who had the biggest influence on your life?
My mother, Dolly. She gave me my drive. Musically, it was Bing Crosby and Billie Holiday.
What was life like in your final years?
I spent a lot of time with my wife, Barbara, and my friends. I still performed as long as I could because that's where I felt most alive. I enjoyed the quiet of the desert.
What were you working on in your career before you passed away?
I was doing the duets albums. It was a lot of fun to sing my old hits with the new generation of stars. It showed that the songs still had legs.
When and where did you pass away?
May 14th, 1998, in Los Angeles, California.
What happened?
My heart finally decided it had had enough. I lived a very full life, and I suppose it was just time.
What's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I was a very tidy person, borderline obsessive about cleanliness. I used to shower several times a day. I couldn't stand a mess.
What's the craziest rumor ever told about you?
Oh, there are too many to count. But the one about me being the inspiration for Johnny Fontaine in The Godfather? People really ran with that one.
What was your most unique habit?
I always wore orange. I used to say orange was the happiest color. Whether it was a pocket square or a sweater, I usually had a bit of orange on me.
What was your favorite food?
My mother's Italian cooking, obviously. But I loved a good steak and a simple dish of pasta with red sauce.
Did you have a favorite restaurant?
Patsy's in New York. It felt like home.
What was your favorite book?
I read a lot of history and biographies. I was always curious about how other people navigated the world.
Did you have any known rivalries?
Not really rivalries, but I certainly had my moments with the press. And early on, people liked to play up a rivalry between me and Bing Crosby, but we were actually good friends.
Tell us a story nobody talks about.
I used to do a lot of benefit shows and help people out financially behind the scenes without telling anyone. I didn't want the publicity. I just wanted to help.
What's your funniest behind-the-scenes moment?
Anything involving the Rat Pack. We'd be on stage in Vegas and Dean Martin would start ad-libbing or Sammy would start dancing and we'd all just lose it. We had more fun than the audience did half the time.
Did you ever prank someone?
Constantly. Usually Dean or Sammy. We'd hide each other's clothes or mess with each other's drinks. It kept things light.
What was the most outlandish purchase you made?
Probably some of my private planes or the compound in Palm Springs. I like to live well and share it with my friends.
What advice would you give people chasing success?
You have to have a plan, you have to work harder than everyone else, and you have to be true to yourself. Don't let anyone tell you who you are.
Frank, this has been incredible. Before we sign off, do you have any closing remarks or stories you'd like to share with our listeners?
Just that music is the best medicine. Keep listening, keep dreaming, and do it your way. Thanks for having me, Calvin. It's been a blast.
Truly the honor of a lifetime. Frank Sinatra, everyone. What a journey through Hoboken, Hollywood, and beyond. Thanks for joining us on the show, Frank. And that wraps up another conversation from beyond the grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.